Hello, everyone. My name is Daron, call sign K1DDC. Welcome to this evening's Elmer Session. This is an hour-long meeting to discuss ham radio, s.t.e.m topics, everything that ham radio covers. This is not a net, so you don't need to be a net. You don't need to be a call sign holder. You don't need to be a ham radio operator. There won't be any check-ins, but we're here to discuss all ham radio things related. In an hour, there will be a presentation on youth and amateur radio. So we can bring up anything that you want to bring up. So let us know. I can kick things off here during our last Learning Net, which was on this past Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. We discussed some kit building. We discussed some antennas. We were discussing. Let me see what we're in here. Let's see, I can come back to that when I have that brought up. Some interesting articles here. I've seen in the news. Let me share my screen here and you can see what I'm talking about. Recent article in the news here from March 8th, covered over here on hackaday.com. Stranded motorist affects own rescue using a drone and a cell phone, written by Dan Maloney. Goes into a news story in a Facebook post by the Lane County Sheriff's Search and Rescue page. Unnamed motorist who's trying to negotiate an unmaintained road through the remote Willamette National Forest got stuck in the snow. This put him in a bad situation because not only was he at a cell range, but no one knew where they were or even that they were traveling, so they would be missed, wouldn't be missed for days. So unlucky motorist played all their cards right. Rather than wandering off on foot, they stayed in their vehicle, and they had a drone. So they, after typing a detailed text message to a friend describing their situation, exact location, he attached the phone to the drone, a cell phone to the drone, and set it up straight a couple hundred feet to enough to get line of sight to a cell tower. Above the image here shown on screen is a reenactment, but when he brought the drone back down, a few minutes later, he found that the queued text message had been sent, and cavalry was on their way. A search and rescue unit was also able to locate him, and as a bonus, found another passerby who had been stranded. So, pretty interesting things here. To think if they had any of these people had ham radios or GMRS or CB or some sort of two-way communication. All right, I can bring up a few more things here. We have plenty of time, 55 minutes or so. I might play some short videos, less than 2 or 3 minutes or so throughout the net, throughout this meeting here, if we don't hear much. But I'll throw it out to the group. This is the Denver Radio Club Elmer Session. Great place to learn about ham radio, STEM topics, and everything that ham radio covers. This is sort of a companion to our Wednesday night Learning Net. Takes place over the air, but as well as online. I didn't mention here this evening, but we're on most social media. Denver Radio Club. We also stream and archive our meetings on youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So check that out if you want. What else here? Again, at any given time, don't hesitate to jump in. we're here to answer any questions or talk about any projects that you're working on. Again, over on hackaday.com, article written by Al Williams on February 23rd, titled NASA Help Wanted. Ham radio operators, please apply. NASA has been recruiting citizen scientists lately, and their latest call is looking for help from ham radio operators. They want you to make and report radio contacts during the 2023 and 2024 North American eclipses. From their website, to quote, communication is possible due to interactions between our sun and the ionosphere. The ionized region of the Earth's atmosphere located roughly 80 to 1,000 kilometers overhead. The upcoming eclipses, October 14th, 2023, and April 4th, 2024, provide unique opportunities to study these interactions. As you and other HamSci members transmit, remember, and record signals across the radio spectrums during these eclipses, you will create valuable data to test computer models of the ionosphere. It will be a fun and friendly event with a competitive element. So if you like space, science, space, or contesting, it sounds like you'd be interested. The big event is the Solar Eclipse QSO Party. Let's see when it's probably going to be taking place during one of those dates there. hamsci.org, hamsci.org. April 14th, 2023, or excuse me, October 14th, 2023, and April 4th, 2024. More information on their website for their contesting rules.
This is Mark. I wonder how they're really going to quantify the signals, considering how muddled that's become in HF world.
Yeah, that is a good question. If they were able to use digital tools like FTH or something, they could much more easily quantify that. But people's words are what they are. Let's see if they have anything on here. Generate observations for the reverse beacon network and PSK reporter. So it looks like they are using some digital modes for this QSO party. It's objective is to generate observations of propagation by the reverse beacon network and PSK reporter event logs before, during, and after the eclipse on amateur radio bands. So yeah, how we get those with that? Let's see. I know PSK Reporter has a map for propagation. I wonder if they can potentially use results of propagation potentially.
Yeah, I don't know. That's I mean, like I said, if they're just going via beacons, I suppose that's one thing. But I mean, at least my mind goes to voice single sideband. I don't do a lot of digital world, so it you hear people trying to quantify what they're actually receiving in signals, and especially during contests, that always goes out the window. Anyways, you could barely hear a guy, and you give him a 5.9 signal report.
Gotcha. Yep. Looks like they're doing RST type reporting here. Yeah, I don't know though. That'd be interesting to find out how they use the voice phone contacts for this.
There was a voice portion there. I couldn't read it very well because I think my screen's not quite big enough. If you scroll down just a little bit, there was a piece in there that said about the voice.
Yeah, I'm battling something else here. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Sorry, give me a minute here.
So they just want you to call servers, it looks like. Yeah, that's going to get them a lot of, if you look under number 3, signal report, and it talks about signal reports should represent the approximate peak S meter rating. Well, with the way that most of the modern radios are built nowadays, there's very certain parameters to where the S meter is actually correct. And that's, typically without any kind of noise filtering or having an amplifier, the internal audio amplifier on, blah, blah, blah. Most people don't even have a clue about that.
Yep. That sounds about right. All right, well, that was that one. Anyone else so far? We have another 50 minutes or so. That comes from hamsci.org. Advancing scientific research and understanding through amateur radio, encouraging the development of new technologies to support this research and provide educational opportunities for the amateur radio and general public. So, pretty cool organization they look like here. So, whether this contest or otherwise, looks like they have a lot of citizen science type opportunities to get involved with. Okay, what here? Just so I can take a sip, I'm going to play a real quick 1.5-minute video here. This is from Adafruit Industries showing a pick and place machine, I believe. It's manufacturing in New York City. So let's see if I could do this here without breaking too much.
Let's do some advanced manufacturing made in New York City factory footage. K1WBC. Just checking in here. Sorry, this is Duran K1WBC. Some advanced manufacturing printer, CNC machine, or pick and place machine, excuse me. Picking up parts and soldering them onto a PCB board. So pretty cool stuff there. Anyone else at the moment? In their comments, questions, let us know. Okay, we have another 45 minutes or so here, and we'll have a meeting after that, presented by Mark Strahan, KD6IQW, presentations on youth and amateur radio. So you can look forward to that. What else?
anyone else at the moment? Any other comments, questions, anything else for this evening's Elmers session so far? Please let us know. If anybody has anything, let us know.
Yeah, I was having Lyle there, who's KE0ZNB. He's trying to bring up a video of a noise we saw in the HF band this last week that we hadn't been able to identify. My thoughts is it looked a little bit like something new out of the Russians. Maybe you guys remember the woodpecker's been active again. This looked like a wider version of that, but we hadn't seen it before. So I was trying to get him to find that video up and share it with you guys to see what you guys thought.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, let us know. I know SIG-ID Wiki, as in Signal Identification Wiki, they have a pretty good.
We've been through all.
Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah, we've been through all of that. I mean, we unfortunately here at this QTH we have we live in the mid, right smack in the dab of middle of 7 a.m. stations, fully electric neighborhood. You name it, this area has had it, and we've chased a lot of noise and seen lots of different noise. But this was a new one for me, and it'd be kind of interesting what people's school of thought was.
Yeah, if he wants to put it in the chat, we can take a look.
I think he's trying to get it downloaded right now. So, okay. So why don't you take it, Lyle, and see if you can put it onto a presentation.
And audio doesn't normally come through the video. I have to do something special to do that. So unfortunately, the audio doesn't come through the share.
We found out this week that if you select a window when your choice on the presentation tab is select a window, it works better. If you're sharing.
Yeah, he's trying to get that figured out there, but it's kind of interesting. You saw that. Lyle, put it back up so we can see it. Put up the video first. I got Lyle's here in the same room with me, so I'm conversing via airwaves here. So, yeah, you see all the different bands there all stacked right together. And if you kind of see it in full time, what you'll see is they literally are firing off in order. The video is not really doing it a whole lot of justice, but when you see it in kind of in a full-time mode, it was really interesting. And you can see the width of it there. You're talking almost 40 kilohertz. Any thoughts there, gang?
Not immediately, no. Not too sure.
I mean, I think I've seen just about it all. You know, we had a lot of noise to chase around here, and you know, I've seen everything from the bad switching power supplies to light bulbs. To me, just you name it, I've seen it and tracked it down to kill our noise levels here at this QTH. And you know, we certainly in the last since Ukraine and Russia went together, we certainly have seen a lot of that. The newer version of their woodpecker, but this was even newer. I hadn't seen this one before.
Gotcha. Yep, there are a lot of number of stations in clandestine radio out there, potentially still. Yeah, who knows? A lot of digital stuff and encrypted, so yeah.
Yeah, it's digital is usually really narrow banded and pretty pretty solid and whatnot. It's not um, banded like that. It doesn't have the ins and outs so much when it's digital. Um, but that was in the upper end of the 20-meter band. So just kind of odd. So I wonder if anybody else had seen it or had any experience, because it's not listed anywhere that I can find. And that's why Lyle recorded it. He hadn't seen it either. He spends a lot of time in the HF world.
Should I be heard now? Oh, what the frick?
Barely. Yeah, Lyle's having trouble with his audio.
Gotcha.
So anyhow, that's it for me until until you guys are ready for me to do the presentation, at least on that piece. It's the only kind of
Sounds
question
good.
I had.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, if you've just joined us, again, welcome to the Dental Radio Club Elmer Session. Great place to learn about ham radio, STEM topics. So a lot of stuff to discuss. So if you have a project you're working on or radios you've gotten here recently or something you want to talk about, let us know. Okay, what else here? Always a great blog to read, rtl-sdr.com. Really cool, pretty cool stories here. What here? Yeah, a lot of different software-defined radio transceivers. A lot of software-defined work. A lot of cool ways to receive signals without a lot of effort nowadays. So $20 or so, you got a lot of cool opportunities here. Let's see, Android using software-defined radio, not too new, but pretty cool stuff there. Somebody was reading their tire pressure monitoring system from their vehicle through software-defined radio. Somebody was reviewing the ANT-SDR. It's a transceiver, I believe. Low-powered, though, software-defined transceiver over a fairly large spectrum. 70 megahertz to 6 gigahertz. Pretty cool stuff there. Web-based software-defined receiver. You can set up just a web-based platform and hook your software-defined radio into that. Pretty cool stuff there. What else here? Pretty cool article here from the 3rd, hunting for space radio pirates on the U.S. military fleet SATCOM satellites. Goes on to say the 70s, the 80s, the U.S. government launched a fleet of satellites called FLTS or FLT SATCOM, which were simple radio repeaters in geostationary orbit. This allowed the U.S. military to easily communicate with each other all over the world. Technology of the time could not implement encryption, so security relied entirely on the U.S. military's technological advantage at being the only ones to have equipment there. So not a great security measure there. So let's see, equipment was 243 to 270 megahertz range. These days, satellites are often hijacked by Brazilian radio pirates who use satellites for long-range communications. A common hobby software-defined radio, again, for $20 or so. You can listen into these. Over on a YouTube channel, they have been showing in how to listen in using
cheap Bofang radio and a software-defined radio, and uses a homemade Yagi, and cleverly makes use of an old security camera, a PTZ pan tilt zoom camera for rotation. So pretty interesting stuff there.
Can I be heard now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank God. My mic gain was all the way down.
No problem. Yeah, if you have anything, let us know. Just chime in for free.
And to add on to that noise, that wrecked, there was like, it popped up again after a minute after it died, and just like no activity for 30 minutes on that upper band because it just closed it. So I'm guessing it was pretty strong.
Gotcha. Okay.
I couldn't go over there and look at it because I was running one of my own nets at the time.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just trying to bring up, there's some reverse engineering tools for RF, and I can't remember them at the moment, but if I can try to find that, yeah, it might be something worth digging into, but yeah, who knows? There's millions of stuff, lots of stuff going out there, so yeah, let us know on that. All right.
Yeah, chasing noise is becoming almost an art form. We got several different types of antennas, and using some of those little handheld SDR things that have the waterfall on them to tell to point the direction of where the signal is strongest, so forth. It took us a lot of time. One of the horrible things of living in this neighborhood has been dealing with all that noise, but one of the great things is we sure learned a lot together doing those things.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, we talk about amateur radio direction finding quite a lot. Some of our members like to do fox hunting, and one of the projects we recently talked about, nobody has it, but this Kraken SDR to locate illegal interfering transmitters, helpful for fox hunts and stuff like that. So a little bit more advanced than I think a typical thing is, but yeah, pretty cool project here we're looking at.
Yeah, we built something similar to that. Oh, this is back in oh boy, I'm going to kind of date myself, but we're probably talking mid 90s. In that area, we actually created a Doppler type system like that with multiple antennas on the roof of a car to track down jammers that were jamming 2-meter repeaters. And we were pretty successful getting some of those guys.
Gotcha. Very cool stuff here. Let's see. I think this one was slightly different than Doppler. It seemed like definitely way above my head, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, very cool stuff here. So yeah, a lot of the noise floor of our cities are increasing, ever increasing, with LEDs and all sorts of consumer electronics and higher density living, and yep, it's getting louder and louder out there.
I think what we have found is it's all the consumer electronics, but what it really boils down to in almost every single instance is poorly made switching power supplies. And of course, pretty much everything nowadays is using a switching power supply. And the ones coming out of China that, they say that they actually have FCC, approval and blah, 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 actually don't. They just rubber stamp them and send them on over. But pretty much every single noise line that we have found around here, that, the culprit itself, like, it wasn't the TV, it wasn't the laptop, it wasn't the actual LED lights. What it was the power supply to them.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
We had one next door, which was a real plague for us a long time while we were trying to learn what we were doing and seeing, that we called Godzilla. It came on almost every night right at about dark. Completely killed 40 and 80 meters for us. It gave us, S9 plus 60 or 80 noise levels, just horrible. Took us a long time to find that one. And again, it was just a $20 switching power supply. And I bought them a new one, plugged it in. No noise went away.
Gotcha. All right, I see a couple more people here, but yeah, welcome to the Demo Radio Club Elmer Session. If you want to bring up any topics about ham radio or anything you're working on, let us know. All right, this is Daron K1DBC. Again, this is not a net. You don't have to be a ham radio operator. There won't be any check-ins, but if you have anything related to ham radio or... Oh, I'm talking in the wrong one, I think, here. Or no, I right. Yeah, let us know. All right, I'll play another quick video here. 3D printing. If you haven't gotten into it, some pretty cool stuff here. There was a talk recently to our club about it, but again, throwing back to the Adafruit group, they have some pretty cool 3D printing projects they feature throughout the year. So I'll play a minute or so of this here. I have to share my screen first. All right, I might pay a couple more minutes of that later on, but yeah, get into 3D printing. There's a lot of cool stuff out there.
KE0, Z, and V, and myself are both Skywarn certified folks. We enjoy spending that time out there being spotters.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Yep, we've had a presentation given to us about this, and we got to get certified through that. So yeah, the weather.gov/BOU as in Boulders or /spot_training put on by the National Weather Service. So yeah, really cool stuff here. Scott Entrikin, yeah, that's who gave us a presentation.
Yeah, it's an important thing, even if you're not out on the road somewhere or whatnot. It's an important thing to understand what's going on in weather, and even with all the advancements we have with radar, um, what your eyes can tell you and tell them what's going on in the lower parts of these storms they can't see in the radar. And so, even if you're at your house in Brighton or somewhere, it's still important that the National Weather Service has eyes.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, on their website here, they should have some. I don't know if these are 2020. Oh yeah, these are 2023. Well, I don't know if these are 2023 dates, but they usually have some dates listed where you can take some training.
I know some of the 2023 dates, at least for Weld County, have been released. I saw something about that on a Facebook post just within the last day or two.
Okay, gotcha.
It's actually probably one of the things I'll probably talk a little bit about tonight when I do my presentation. Is this the storm spotting and the amateur radio aspect are actually what finally sent my son over the edge of wanting to study to get his license so that he could be the one communicating with the National Weather Service. And then his deputy, I don't know what the word for it would be, but his progress to amateur radio went from there over the last few years to now going to Hamvention as a youth presenter this year.
Very neat. Very neat. All right. Anyone else at the moment? Anything else? Let us know. All right, we have another 40 minutes or so, or excuse me, 20 minutes. We have another 20 minutes. If anybody has any comments, questions, let us know. We're here to discuss ham radio, STEM topics, everything, all the tendrils of ham radio. Let us know. There's a recent net in the area for the Colorado section, the ARL section. Bring this up here. It's every second Monday of the month, I believe, at 7 p.m. on the W0FUN network. Bring this up here. WE0FUM. So they had a lot of check-ins, a lot of stuff. So you can check in a lot of their repeaters on the air 449.225 if you're near the Denver area. Yeah, hosted by Amanda Alden, our Colorado section manager. So check that out.
Has anybody seen that I saw something ARL sent me an email, which was odd, about a LinkedIn group for Colorado?
Yes. Yep. Just another social media outlet. You can join in on their LinkedIn. Yep. I believe I got that same thing.
I literally get so much spam and false stuff, through email and whatnot, that I'm just really hesitant, unless I really know the person, to absolutely don't click links.
Yep, that was sent by ARL Public Relations Coordinator Desiree Bacchus, N3DEZ. It looks like to join the Colorado section on LinkedIn. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff there. Amanda Alden, K1DDN, Section Manager. John Bloodgood, KD0SFY, Section Public Information Coordinator and owner of the LinkedIn group. So, yeah, just another way to get in contact with them if you like.
It was so kind of out of the blue. I hadn't seen anything from the ARL except for when they want money. So it's just kind of, wasn't sure. Glad to know that it was real, but it was kind of odd getting something like that.
So anytime I get something like that, I never click the link in the message. I went to LinkedIn to look it up and ended up joining it from there, but I would never, click the link in the message.
Yeah, I pretty much trained my whole family never to click links. And if somebody sends you a message via social media that you don't know their name, especially if it's a picture message, you don't even open up the text, because way the viruses are going nowadays, you just they embed them in pictures. They do everything. I got to have 2 firewalls in our system just to keep the 3,000 incursions a month that we do get it contained.
Yeah. And I get text message regularly claiming to be from either Amazon or Netflix that, your account's been locked, blah, 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 and they're phishing attempts.
Oh, they're just constant. They really are. It's my folks are aging. They don't understand what a lot of that's going on. So I had to lock down everything tight and basically tell them, it's like, if somebody calls you from somewhere, don't respond. You tell me about it, I'll take care of it. But just don't respond to anybody or tell anybody anything.
Right. I've been getting inundated with Medicare benefits calls this last couple of weeks. It's like, just click,
It's just it's getting really sad, the amount of scammers that are out there. I really have enjoyed some of the videos I've seen lately of this group called Trilogy that goes after the scammers and hacks them and does all kinds of things to them. And all there in India. I mean, the scammers in India have put uh, money on their heads, literally.
All right, we have another 15 minutes or so here until we start the meeting. I can bring up another story or two, but if anybody else has anything for this evening's Elmer session, let us know.
Anybody get a chance to work that Bouvet Island?
because I got to hop out and I'll be back in about 5 till.
Sounds good.
Roger.
No, I have not. I did not get a chance to work at this time, but it sounds like it's a pretty popular place to visit and try to operate from, just a speck in the middle of the the ocean here. So yeah, it looks like they started on maybe the 2nd or so, or the 10th of February, maybe, or February 8th. It looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, that group was there for about a week, and then I saw a rumor that another group was on there starting this last week, but haven't seen anything about them actually operating.
Gotcha.
Brutal conditions, so they have to be pretty dedicated for that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Pretty quiet, other than the operations.
I don't see.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, that was another thing we were talking about, was CW operations, and someone started, this was last week, someone was talking about words per minute, and then they eventually mentioned that they were doing things digitally anyway, so it kind of confused me a little bit, but yeah. Yeah, pretty cool stuff here. Looks like they have some videos over on their operations on their Facebook.
Yeah, I could never. When the few times I got on, they said they were on. I could never hear them from here, and we've got a pretty good system, and just don't propagation just wasn't hitting Colorado when I was checking. That's crazy.
Yeah, team members pulling in their equipment, generator, fuel, antennas. That is pretty crazy to see. Yeah, real dedication there for these trips.
Yeah, all in dry suits. I mean, it didn't get much harder than that.
To add even more frustration, yeah. Very cool. All right, I'll throw it out to the group. We have another 10 minutes or so. Just talking about the DXpedition to Bouvet Island here, looking at some of their videos, some of their audio. Call sign 3Y0 Juliet, 3Y0J. You can find more information on dx-world.net. A lot of up-to-date information here. All right, we'll just let this slideshow play here, but I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone else at the moment? Any other comments, questions? This is the Denver Radio Club Elmer Session. Great place to learn about ham radio, STEM topics, and everything that's involved with it. So, let us know.
How about QRM? I've been trying to get on the air, but I have so much noise coming into my set, and I don't know if it's because of my neighbor's solar panels or the fluorescent lights or what the heck it is, but I'm just really not getting anything that I can listen to. I can't even, tune into WWV up in Fort Collins.
Yeah, I'll help you out with this a little bit. We this QTH, we've fought a lot of noise, a lot of QRM, and 9 times out of 10, it's a switching power supply for things such as LED light strings, laptops, TVs, anything that has those little tiny black boxes that are in line with the power cord. Those things are problematic. When I first started here, I was blaming every solar panel for blocks around, and turned out to be mostly just my direct neighbors right around me with these bad power supplies. What you really got to do is find somebody that has a little bit of tracking equipment and find out where it is. You start off with your own house by basically turning off everything. Plug your radio into a battery and see where your noise level is.
Okay, that's a good place to start.
So you can eliminate your own house first. Like I said, run your radio by battery, and see what your noise levels are at. Turn your house on breaker by breaker and see if the noise levels come up. And if the noise levels come up, then you got something in your house. In our case, we didn't have really anything major in our house. It was really neighbors, and in multiple places. I mean, we had noises coming from 4 or 5 different houses around us because it's an electric only neighborhood. And one was a computer power supply that had some interesting noise outputs, and all the rest were switching power supplies for LED.
Wow. What can you do about your neighbors? I mean,
no, you buy them new power supplies. $20 will get you a new power supply off of Amazon. You just buy them a new one and say, here, put this in line of this, and the noise goes away and everybody's happy.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's it's not getting any easier, especially all the stuff that comes out of China. The switching power supplies, they'll still literally be working, but some component goes out on the inside, and they just put out huge noise. And we had one set of lights that were on a light switch for one of our neighbors' kids' rooms, and it literally gave us S.t.e.m plus 6080 noise levels on 40 and 80 meters at night.
Wow.
It just drove us crazy. I mean, we literally called it Godzilla. But as soon as those, we didn't know it was a light switch, but literally as soon as they turned on that light switch at night, it literally killed those bands for us.
Yeah, look at my neighbors have a string of what they call party lights going around their back porch of different colors, and they're dimming on and off to some cadence. And I just look at those thinking, those things are probably running off of some pulse width modulator somewhere.
Well, one of the things you can do is good old MFJ, the Mighty Fine Junk producer there. They actually sell a noise finder. They sell it with several different antennas. But the one with Yagi was the one that seemed to be most useful for us. The other tool that worked really well is a Alex loop antenna plugged into one of those little cheap SDRs with a waterfall on you get from Amazon. They're about $75 to $100 for the good ones. Plug it right into an Alex loop or the Yagi and sit there and direction find where that noise is.
Cool.
So that's my suggestion.
All right. Thank you. I was just But I've done nothing, and I'm all out of ideas.
We like I said, we had a huge amount of frustration here when we started putting up HF antennas and whatnot at this QTH. It was a heck of a learning curve, and we still got a few around that are a little annoying, but we got rid of all the big ones, so we can pretty much get done everything we need to get done. Oh, and by the way, none of those solar panels in my area actually caused any noise.
Really, that's good to know, because there are a lot of panels around here going up, and all I could think is that if they had those, I call it the little miniature converters on each one of them, those had to be switch mode. Micro inverters, that's what they call them.
Yeah, they had. There was one group that has that problem. Actually, next to my father's house out in California, he has a guy that has that system up there, and you can hear it a little bit. It's not horrible. It's not overbearing. I mean, if you're down in even if the band is less than S5 or S6, you can hear it kind of ticking in there. But it's nothing in comparison to what the noise is being produced by those switching power supplies.
Yeah.
I have a little. Okay. Okay.
Can't hear you well. Yeah, Lyle's having some audio issues for some reason tonight. So he's working on that. But I'm going to go into the background here, and I got to work on having this presentation ready. So as soon as you're ready for me, I'll be here.
Okay, Mark, this is Jerry. We'll, on the hour, we'll make a couple announcements, and then we will forge on. So,
Roger, Roger.
I actually do have a little bit of video on the Godzilla noise I could do. Here's that noise.
Wow.
Yeah, that's with all the filters going.
Yeah, we fought that noise a long time.
Where did you narrow it down to?
That was that light string at the neighbor's kids' room that we were talking about.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, all it took was a $20 replacement off Amazon, and they plugged it in. They still had lights, and we had no noise.